Rachel. All right, so the first thing I do want to do is review the supplies, kind of make sure that everybody has what they need, and then I will show you an example of what we're going to do today. Actually, I'm going to show you the example first. So here's what we're going to be making today. I have two different examples for you. So here's the first one, and it's a big one. So here's the first one, okay? And then here is the second one that I made. Not quite as big, looks a little different color-wise. So this is what I'm going to be showing you how to make today. Now, I'm going to attempt to show you my supplies. So you should be able to see my area here. So I've got yarn, which is what makes the main part of the star. I have this variegated yarn, which I really, really love. That's the first example that I showed you, was the variegated yarn, because it has all the different colors in it. And that way I don't have to stop. All the different colors just come out naturally because they're already put inside the yarn. So I really like that. And then I also have a brown yarn and a pink yarn. All right. Get the yarn over here to the side. I also have a pair of scissors. Very important. I've got some tape, which is not required, but it may help if you're having a little bit of trouble holding your star to get started. And then I have a variety of different sticks here, and I wanted to show you all the different kinds of sticks so that you understand you can do this project with just about anything that you can find. So these are the little wooden sticks that come with magic scratchers. I just happen to have some of those laying around. I have some popsicle sticks. It's been hot lately. We had some popsicles, and so we cleaned those off. So I do have some popsicle sticks. I have some skewers, long, skinny wooden skewers that I happen to have in my kitchen, just laying around. And the skewers are what I made this one with, right? So you can see the big skewers made a big star. Then you'll see I also have some sticks. I picked these up at the dog park last week. There's nothing special about them. I just picked them up off the ground. What's important is that they are nice and straight. All right. The other thing that I have that I've never used before, and I gave it a try, are some craft sticks. And you'll notice these craft sticks are wider than a popsicle stick. I tried to make a star with the craft sticks this weekend and it looked a little bit funky to me, so I didn't keep it, but you can use craft sticks if that's what you have. All right, so does everybody have their sticks? Let me see. I see some popsicle sticks. I see some nice long. All right, looks like everybody's got their sticks. All right, so what I want you to do to get started, and I'm going to do my best to kind of move my camera up and down and show you as best I can, because I don't have one of those fancy cameras. The first thing that I want you to do is pick the yarn that you want to use. I am going to show you how to do one with two different colors, because I want to show you how to change the yarn. So I am going to start with my pink. I'm going to do one that is pink and brown. So I'm going to start with my pink yarn. Jack, small toothpicks is going to be really, really hard. You need something that I would say that's at least as long as a popsicle stick or longer. The toothpicks, it's going to be so hard to do what you need to do. Rachel, if there are any other questions that I'm missing as we go, just holler, let me know. All right. So I'm going to get my yarn kind of pulled out. And I'm going to take my piece of yarn and I'm going to lay it down on the table in front of me in a straight line. All right, can we see that? All right. I have it just laying down in front of me in a straight line. I'm going to do my first one with my sticks. So what I want to do with my yarn is I want to make an X over the yarn, just like that. Okay. Everybody make your X's. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this yarn around the middle of the X. Okay, so just do a little tie. And it's okay if your sticks move around a little bit, we're going to fix that. So just tie around the middle of your X and tie it pretty tight. And then I like to do a second one just to make things nice and secure. Okay, so now we've got an X with our string tied around it. And I am going to trim off the tail here because it's just going to get in my way. So I'm going to trim off that tail and get rid of it. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to get caught up.
Andy, I was just going to say, for the people who said that they don't have the stuff or are not able to do it, this is being recorded, so you can come back to it when you do have the supplies and be able to go at a slower pace if you choose to.
Right.
We'll post the recording later.
And this is also where the tape can come in handy, especially if you've got little hands or if you're having trouble holding your sticks together. I'm going to show you on my popsicle sticks what you can do. You can see my craft sticks. I actually have them glued. Oh, they were glued together. I had those glued together. On my popsicle sticks, if I just need a little bit of help keeping them sorted, I can put some tape on them. Right, so I can put a piece of tape on that side, and I can put a piece of tape on this back side. I probably should have put those in the other direction here. I'm going to stick another piece on there. And then I'll trim off this extra tape so it doesn't get in my way. If my scissors cooperate. Okay, so that can kind of help your sticks stay in place if you're worried about them moving around too much. Okay.
Hey, one quick statement. I saw a few people pop up. They're trying to record this locally, which is fine. That's great. However, our security won't let us do that. You can just respond to a summer camp email or email me, have your parents email me, and I can send you the link to the video once we have it up on YouTube. That will show you everything that you're doing as well. I'm happy to do that for you guys, so that way you can do this later.
And instructions and videos for these can also be found on the internet. They might not always be called the same thing, but they're pretty easy to find. All right, so we're going to go back to.
We had a question. Where do we put the tape again?
I just put it around the center on the popsicle sticks to just help it stay. So you don't have to do that. Normally, when I make these, I don't need to do that. I can actually make these without even tying my X. And the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to do it without having to do any of this stuff. All right, so let's get back to our X here. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make this middle part nice and secure. So we want it to look like a plus sign, or if you're looking at it this way, like a nice perfect X. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our string, we're going to flip around so that the knot that we tied is on the back, because we don't want to be able to see that. So the knot is on the back, we're looking at the top, and we're going to wrap around this middle part a couple of times just to get our plus sign nice and solid. So I'm just going to kind of wrap across the middle. Let me see, I'm going across the middle. I'm going across the middle, and I'm going to do this maybe 5 or 6 times. The great thing about these is you don't have to be super precise. I also need to start letting out my yarn. And what I tend to like to do is I like to throw this on the floor, and I let gravity help me unwind my yarn. So I'm going to toss this guy on the floor so my yarn unwinds. All right, so we took care and we wound in one direction on our X. Now we're going to go in the other direction on our X. Okay, so now I'm going to come up and go the other direction. Okay, and we're just going to go. Oops, and it'll wiggle around, and it's okay. Move your hands around. Let me see if I can get myself a little more room here. All right, can you guys see what I'm doing? So we're going to go around and around and around that middle part. Okay, so we're going around that middle part. Okay, so the front of it, you can see what the front of mine looks like. Okay, we've just wrapped it around. We've got that middle nice and secure now. You see, when I wiggle it, it's not moving anywhere, right? Because I've got it nice and secure. All right, so let me take a look. Let me see how we're looking in terms of getting our middle part together. When your middle part's together, just go ahead and look up at the camera because I want to try not to move too fast. All right, and here's what mine looks like just for your reference. Okay, Bella, make sure that you've gone both directions and try and get yours to look more like a plus sign. And you can wiggle it, like you should be able to move it around if you need to. The more plus signy it looks, the better. I think it'll still work if it's not super plus signy, but the best results will be if you can get it to look just like a plus sign. You know what, then that's the thing about these. I'm going to show you how to do this, but you will have the supplies around. You know, there's always sticks outside. There's always popsicles being eaten. So you guys are going to be able to practice this and you'll be able to get really good at it. But the first time you do anything, yeah, you make mistakes and that's how you learn. So please don't worry. All right, so Violet and Charlie, I see what you guys got going on there. That looks good. I see we're still doing some wrapping. So if you try and get yours a little more plus signy if you can, so that it's like real square. Yep, totally okay to restart. As a matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start another one on my popsicle sticks so you guys can kind of watch me do it again, okay? So I'm gonna start my popsicle stick one with my beautiful variegated yarn that I love. All right. So like I said, I don't even have to tie mine anymore because I've made so many of these. So all I really do is I just kind of hold my yarn on the back and then I start wrapping. But I had you guys tie it just to try and make it a little bit easier for you. So here we go. I'm just wrapping around that middle. Couple times. And then I'm switching and I'm wrapping the other direction around that middle. Trying to make sure you guys can see me. And you'll see, this is the one that I had the tape on. You'll see as we go, that tape gets covered up. You're not even going to see it anymore. All right. So I think everybody's pretty much ready to move on to the next step. All right, so I'm going back to my sticks. And what we're going to be working on today, the pattern that we're going to be using today is over and around. Okay, so we're going to be thinking over and around all the time. All right, so I'm going to go like this because it'll be a little bit backwards for me. So I have my piece of yarn coming off here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this one on the side just because that one's the closest. So I'm going to go over here and around it. And then I'm going to keep following that direction. I'm not going to come backwards. I'm going to keep going forwards over to the next stick. And I'm going to go over and around. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you guys up this way. All right, so I came over and around. And I'm just going to keep moving forward. And I'm going to go over this one. This is hard to do backwards. And around. Okay, and then I'm going to keep going over and around. And then I go over, and around. And then I go over and around. And we're just going to keep doing that. And you'll notice as I do it, I'm going next to the piece of yarn that's already there, right? So for this guy, I'm going to take it over this one, and I'm going right next to the piece of yarn that's right already there. So I'm going over and around. And I can push them down a little bit closer if I want to. All right, so we're going over and around. We go over and around. And we're just going to keep doing that. And I'm going to do that for a couple of rows. And I'll let you guys keep working on that. And then I'll show you how to switch your yarn. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my hands so you can kind of watch as I do what I'm doing. So I'm going over and around. Over and around. And you'll see I'm rotating the sticks as I go because that just makes life a lot easier. So I'm going to go over and around. And then I go over and around. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that. I think the supply list was emailed to you ahead of time. Was it sent this morning, Miss Rachel, or was it sent earlier this week? I can't remember. Do you remember?
I can tell you it was sent.
Oh,
Yep. So we sent a supply list yesterday. We also sent one on Friday. So just for everybody, you'll get a supply list on Friday for the next week. And then you'll get something the day before as well, telling you what you need for the next day. But if your parent or something wants a supply list even further in advance, if we can, just have them respond to a summer camp email or email me directly, and I'm happy to give you a supply list for stuff that's for activities that are coming up within the next 2 weeks or what have you to make sure you got it.
all right. So see, here's how mine is coming. Right. So you can start to see that diamond form. So just make sure you're always going over and around and laying next to the piece of yarn that is already on your stick. Okay, so I'm going over and around. Over and around. And then over and around. You guys getting the hang of it? What do you need me to show you to help you out? It does take a little bit of practice. So just remember, we're going over the stick and the whole way around. And then we go to the next stick. Over and that whole way around. And then to the next stick. Over and the whole way around. Over and around. You did get the toothpick to work. Great. You'll have to show us, Jack. You're probably done already because they're awfully small. Just keep going over and around and keep building. Over and around. And you'll see, once you get the hang of it, it actually goes pretty fast. So just when I do it, I usually have to say in my head to myself, over and around. It's like a little song, over and around. Okay, so kind of see how we're coming along here. All right, I'm going to give you guys another minute or two, and then I'm going to show you how to change your color. Tying the knot to change the color can be a little bit tricky. So if you do have an adult around, that can sometimes help if you have a little bit of trouble tying knots. I'll show you the easiest way I know how to do it, but it may be something that if you struggle with some adult hands may help you. Okay. All right, so let me look. Let me see what's happening over here. See how we're doing. We're making progress. We're making progress. I see it. I see you guys concentrating and working hard. And don't forget, you guys can, stop and start over if you're just not liking what they're looking at. All right. So now I am going to go ahead and show you guys how to change your color if you want to. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I've got my star here and my long tail of yarn. I'm going to just go ahead and snip it. I'm going to leave myself a pretty long piece of yarn because that just makes things easier. So I'm going to snip that yarn, get that out of there. And then I'm going to find the end of my brown yarn, which might be easier said than done. Now my brown yarn is going to look a little bit funny to you because it was started, another project was started with it. And so it's all curly, like some curly hair. But yarn doesn't normally look like this. All right, so I'm going to add brown by doing this. I'm going to take my two pieces of yarn and I'm going to put them next to each other and I'm going to hold them between my thumb and my pointer finger. Okay, so I'm just holding them between those two fingers. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the yarn around both fingers. So both my pointer finger and my next finger. I'm going to wrap the yarn the whole way around them both, and I'm going to pinch it again. Okay, so I wrapped it around my fingers, and I have two bits there pinched. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll this between my fingers, and then I can grab the ends and pull them through. And now I have a knot. So I have a nice little knot there. Okay, I'll show you that one more time. So I'm just going to use this short piece of the variegated thread. So I have both pieces. And I'm going to hold them between my fingers, right? Just between my pointer finger and my thumb. And I'm going to wrap the yarn around these two fingers, both fingers. I'm going to wrap it around and then hold that. Okay. And then I just roll. Just roll them together. And then I pull the ends. Whoops, I messed that one up. It happens sometimes. Roll them together. This one's not cooperating. Roll them together. See, look, even I have trouble sometimes. Roll, come on, roll with me here, yarn. There we go. Right, so even I have to do something a couple of times to get it right sometimes. Okay. So now back to our main one. So I've got my pink yarn and I've added my brown yarn, and all I'm going to do is keep going. Okay. So where did I stop? So I go over and around. Just keep going over and around. over and around. All right, and so I've got this weird knot hanging out here. And you're probably thinking, whoa, that looks gross. We don't want to have a big old knot on the front of our yarn star. We'll end up covering it up as we go. So you'll see. So I'm just going to keep going with my brown. Just taking care to lay it next to what's already there. And when I come by this knot, I want to make sure my yarn is going on top of it. So don't get caught in the knot. Don't go under the knot. Go on top of your knot. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. Over and around. And you should be able to see here. I'm going to flip it around and see what you guys are seeing. See how that knot is already almost completely covered up? You can't even see it anymore. All right, so we're going to keep going. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We're almost at 11:30, so we're going to keep going. And I'm going to show you how to finish it off. And then I'm going to show you some fancy variations. Once you get the hang of your basics, I'm going to show you some fancy variations that you can do on your yarn stars.
I saw some people might have their hands up and have questions. You can ask in chat, and some people are saying, oh, yours looks bad. There is no looking bad. It's okay. We're all doing stuff new. But let me ask, while we're doing this, you want to hold yours up to the camera and let's see how things are going, because everybody's doing stuff different. So, you know, I see somebody has one that looks like there's just it's a little bit of a small yarn star. Someone else has one where it almost looks like you made a dress. But that's great. It actually looks pretty good. Let's see how other stuff. Oh, Gretchen, that's awesome. I see a few others, you know, who are still kind of, you know, 1 or 2 steps behind, but that's okay. William and Isaac are doing great. Nicola's doing all right. Nate, that looks awesome. Alexandre, you're doing great. Taylor, you're doing fine too. Keep on working at it. Desiree, oh, look at that. It's all the rainbows. It's awesome. Nathaniel's, yours looks awesome. And everybody else, just keep on working on this stuff as we continue. And it's okay. All of yours could look different. There's nothing wrong with that. And we'll be posting it again. So that way you guys can do a little bit more with your yarn stars after this particular summer camp session. So Miss Andias, we'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah, and you're right, Sheik. This is your artistic creation. Whatever your vision is what your star is going to look like. So this is what I wanted mine to look like. You probably want yours to look a little bit different. And like I said, I'm going to show you some creative things that you can do to make your yarn star a little bit different. And then I bet as you make more of these, you're going to think of even more creative ways. Like maybe you're going to get out some glitter and put it on your star, or maybe you're going to put a sticker on there or something like that. So I'm going to show you how to finish it off. And then I'm going to show you some creative additions. So when I decide that I'm done, all I'm going to do, so I decided I'm done, I'm going to stop here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap around this piece where I decided to stop. I'm going to wrap around that piece, I don't know, 3 times. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around so you see the back. I'm going to put my finger in the way, right? So I'm going to put my finger on my stick, and I'm actually going to wrap around my finger and the stick at the same time. So wrap around my finger, try not to get it caught in other things. Wrap around my finger and the stick at the same time. And then I am going to trim my yarn, and I'm going to leave a nice long tail, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So trim my yarn, nice long tail. And then I'm going to take my yarn and put it through this loop that I just made with my finger, right? So there's a loop here that I just made with my finger. I'm going to put the tail through there to tie that off. I'm just going to pull that tight, try and make sure the knot's in the back. And then I'm going to do it again, just because I like to have two on there. So I'm going to put my finger in the way. I'm going to go around. So I get it around my finger too. And then I'm going to go through that loop. It's kind of hard to see with my curly yarn because it curls up on me. All right. Get that nice and tight. Now the reason
Oh, looks like you muted yourself.
Thank you. I don't even know how I did that. So here you hang that from that nice long tail that you created. So you can hang it wherever you want. You can hang it above your bed. You can make a bunch of these and hang them from something and make it almost like a mobile. So that's how you hang it. Now I'm going to show you guys some fun variations. So sometimes you can get creative with the number of sticks that you use. You can use more than 4 sticks. You can also create embellishments. So I'm going to show you this one that I made this weekend that I did a lot of fun things on. So you can see for this one, I used 3 sticks instead of just 2, right? So now it's got a whole different vibe going on, almost like the shape of almost like a snowflake maybe, or a diamond. And all I did was just use more sticks. These were actually the little scratchers from my Magic Scratch bookmarks. And then I made some little tassels and just tied them on the sides. So you can really get fancy with what you do. Once you try this a couple more times and you get comfortable with what you're doing, you can really fancy things up and make them fun. Yeah, let's see how some of our finished products are. And I can even show you guys how to make tassels if you are interested. Let's see some finished products here. Where's William? I lost William because he said he likes his. I see Tristan and Grayson. Yeah, that looks mighty fine there. I see some of us are still working. I'm really proud of you guys for how hard you're concentrating and how hard you're trying. I know it's hard to learn something new. And it's especially hard when you've got somebody on the computer trying to show you, and I can't get in there and hold your hands. I wish I could come in there and grab your hands and help you guys sort it out. Yeah, look, we've definitely got some, and you did the nice long bamboo skewers. So you're going to end up with a big one. Abby, you're looking good over there. Eli and Iggy, I see you guys making progress. You guys are getting the hang of this. I know it was a little bit wonky at first, but you guys are definitely getting the hang of this. And now I know what you guys are going to do. You're going to go out in that backyard later, and you're going to be looking for sticks everywhere. And you're going to say, Mom, we need to eat more popsicles so that I can have popsicle sticks to make yarn stars. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to make a tassel if you would like to make one. So let me grab my, I'm going to use my variegated yarn that I started my other one with. So let me get this unwrapped here. And this is what I mentioned you might want to have a book for. You can also use your hand. But I have a book with me, Jane Austen's Emma. Jane Austen is my favorite author. A little bit of literature for you on a Wednesday morning. And what we do to make a tassel is we just start wrapping around our book. Okay, so I'm going to go around my book, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 times, because I don't want my tassel to be too crazy big. So I'm just going to wrap around my book. I should be doing it on the other side. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'll do 8, 9, 10. So I happen to do 10 around. You can do as many or as few as you want. And then I'm just going to cut my yarn. All right. Now I'm going to scooch it off the end of the book and keep it all together so that it comes off in a nice loop. Just going to scoot it off and make sure I hold it so that I have a nice round loop. Okay. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my loop. I'm just going to cut right across the bottom. You know, try and make it pretty even. I'm going to cut my loop. And then I'm going to lay my loop down. Nice and flat in front of me. Now I'm going to grab another little hunk of yarn. This one has a knot in it that I have to get rid of. So I'm going to grab some yarn and I'm basically just going to tie it around the middle of my bunch. So I'm going to guess the middle and I'm going to tie my loop around there. Declan, that's great. That looks really good. And look, Declan used pencils. How's that for some ingenuity? All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another little bunch of string or yarn. I'm going to take my bunch here. I'm going to fold it right along where I have it tied. And I'm going to bunch it in my hand like this. And I'm going to guess, I'm going to come down, I don't know, maybe about the width of my thumb. And I'm going to tie this piece around. And again, you don't have to be super precise about this. And I'm going to tie a piece around there. And I'll probably do another one just to make it nice and secure. And then I'll kind of fluff it up a little bit. And now all I need to do is trim it. But it looks nicer when all the ends are the same length. So I'm just going to take and trim it up. And there we go. I've got my tassel that I can hang wherever I want. Okay. So you guys can keep experimenting with your yarn stars. I love this one. I had never done one with more than 4 before, and now I think they're my favorite. So keep practicing with your 4, get brave, try ones that are more, put stickers and glitter and tassels on it, and then you guys can hang them up and decorate your room. So that's pretty much what I had to show you guys today. Do you guys have any questions about what we did today? Bella, your tassel looks great. Is that purple and white? I love those colors. That's beautiful. I love purple. What else do you guys have to show off for me? I can see some people are still working. We've got some beautiful finished products. Looks like Nate's got a nice big one. Eli and Iggy, your guys' is pretty big. It looks like Alexianne is working on oh, that yellow is so happy. That's perfect for summer. Taylor, oh, it's so pretty. I love all the colors. See, you guys got it. I knew you would. Oh, Violet. Do you have some purple in yours too, Violet? Is that purple? Nice. I like purple. Gretchen, oh, look at you. You got brave and you did 2 different colors. Very nice. Very nice. Good work, guys. So keep practicing. These are a great thing to do in the summer. It's just a nice, easy, relaxing craft to do. You can kind of zen out as you wrap your stars. How do you finish the star? Let me show you one more time. So let me do a quick. I'm going to go back to my popsicle sticks. Let me get it. Just a quick start on it. I'm not going to do a whole one, but I got to get going just a little bit. So give me a moment. Let me get started real quick. This will be you guys in like a week. You'll be able to do it this fast. All right. All right, so I just got it started a little bit. So we'll say I'm ready to stop. And this is the stick that I'm going to focus on being my top stick. Even though it's on the bottom right now, this is going to be my top. So I'm going to wrap around that stick about 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then what I'm going to do is, like I showed you guys before, this is where I'm going to get my finger stuck, right? So I'm going to wrap around. I'm going to keep my finger in the way. And I'm going to trim it. Nice long tail. And then I'm going to come around. And so I made a loop where my finger is. I'm going to put the string right through that loop. So I'm going to basically just tie it, almost like you're starting to tie your shoes, right? Just a very, very basic tie. I'm going to tie that. And I'm just going to do the same thing again, just because I like to have 2. So we're going to get that finger in the way. We're going to go around. And then I'm going to put that yarn in that loop and pull through. And then I have the tail that I can use to hang it. Okay. Is there anything else that you guys want me to show you one more time before we wrap up? I think we're getting close to the end. Is that right, Camp Director Rachel? Are we almost at the end of our time?
Yes, we are. And I was following chat and it looks like there aren't any other specific questions right now. Just a reminder that this recording will be posted later, so you can come back to it if you want to make some more or if you need assistance with a certain step. And on behalf of all of our families, friends, and PA Virtual, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And everyone will also be getting an email from us letting you know how to get more information about our school and info about our summer camp sessions, because we still do have a whole summer ahead of us. And if you are not a member of our PA Virtual family, what are you waiting for? You're welcome to send me a message in the chat. I'll be happy to stick around and talk to you for a little bit about our school and our 23 years of education. And you can also request information in the email that we will be sending out. And for everyone else, I hope you had a ton of fun, and we hope to see you at another session very soon.
Thanks for your hard work, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. Yes, you are dismissed if you would like to go. Thank you for sticking around.
Nice job, guys. See you tomorrow for more of Australia.